Also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch this particular proceeding. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have a right to an attorney today. Those who receive a signature bond will be reset for the notice. Those who receive surety or cash bonds today will be reset to the all-purpose calendar on, I'm sorry, I believe it's in the chat and it went away, on the 24th. All right, have all defense attorneys had the opportunity to interview their clients?
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Coleman and I have interviewed all of our clients.
Yes,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
wonderful. Let's please proceed. Who do we have first?
We can start with position number one, Mr. Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown coming? Okay, there you are. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Brown. Your case is 24 CR 007018G. You're charged with hit and run, making an improper U, and driving on a suspended license. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Howard?
2022 DUR. He's on probation for DUR. 05 habitual violator, 05 suspended license no law. So I'm sure he got a lot of suspended license from the past to get the habitual violator. That's all.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hudak. Please proceed.
That's correct, Your Honor. And this incident did occur on August 18th of 2024. In this case, the victim in this case, Ivy Sales, was driving in the third lane from the right on Howell Mill Road near I-75 when the vehicle driven by to make a U-turn in front of her. She could not stop. She ran into him. He did stop initially, got out, made contact with her, showed her a photo of his license. She took a photograph of it and asked him to pull over into the Waffle House parking lot so they can make a report to the police. He drove off at that time. She called the police, who called him on the phone. He said the accident was her fault. Police did run his license and showed that his license was suspended actively for the DUI conviction that did occur on June 17th of 2024. Your Honor, because he shouldn't have been driving at all, and he does have a number of suspended licenses, the state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on the hit and run, $1,000 on the suspended license, and a $500 on the U-turn for a total of $2,500. I apologize, I can't count. No driving while out on bond, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right, thank you. Is this your case, Mr. Coleman?
It is, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
All right, please proceed. Good afternoon.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Brown. He is 74 years of age. He is a resident of Atlanta, Fulton County. It looks like his last involvement with the law was almost 20 years ago, aside from the DUI from 2 years ago. I would note that according to the prosecutor, he did in fact stop at the scene of this accident. I will be requesting a signature bond on his behalf. This is a nonviolent offense.
All right, defendant's going to receive a $1,500 surety bond, $500 on each count. He's not to drive, and he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and he is going to SAP.
It's 4 charges?
It's 3.
3? Which I'll take out.
No, hit and run and duty to stop is the same charge.
Oh.
It just is spaced out. It shouldn't be spaced out.
Oh, okay.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. What do we have
No,
next?
I'm sorry, Judge. It is 4. It says hit and run, duty or driver, making
No,
it for use.
It's three counts. Look at the offense date. Duty and driver and hit and run is the same charge. It's not 4 counts.
Wait, say it one more time.
Look, there shouldn't be space between those 1 and 2. That should all read.
Oh,
together.
the hit and run and duty or driver to stop.
Yes, that's the same charge.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
We can go to position number 2, Mr. Cooper.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cooper, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your case is 24 CR 007024B. You're charged with 5 counts of battery with the offense date of October the 11th. You understand your rights?
Yes, I didn't know.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
Second arrest, 2011 sale of marijuana. Possession of a knife or a firearm during the conviction. That's it.
Thank you. All right, please proceed. Is it Ms. Allen? Please
It is,
proceed.
Your Honor. This is an incident that just occurred on the 11th. The location is 2065 DeForest Ferry Road. Specifically, this is the Urban Wings restaurant. Police were called when the individuals who own and run that restaurant, who are the 3 victims in this case, reported that there was an assault. Ultimately, Kateria Powell encountered the defendant in front of you and his co-defendant, who is on first appearance today, Mrs. Boykin, in the entryway to the location. And these 2 young people were informed that the business wasn't open yet. The folks were inside getting the business ready for the day. They were irate and a little aggressive, but walked away only to return shortly later. The female co-defendant, who's in felony court this morning, had a 2x4 in her hand, and this gentleman with her. They assaulted Mrs. Kateria Powell, excuse me, that's Katerria. Specifically, striking her with the large stick. The gentleman in front of you repeatedly struck her with his fists. She ended up having swelling to her face as a result of being struck by him multiple times. He also kicked her multiple times. His co-defendant struck this lady with a 2x4, and she fell and actually broke her ankle. So while she was laying on the ground, the young man in front of you proceeded to kick her and continue to punch her. He's got 2 charges of battery for his assault on Miss Kateria Powell. Her daughter and her husband, who were there, tried to intervene and stop this assault. Rakaya, her name is Rakaya Dunlap. That's victim number 2, the daughter of this couple. First name is spelled Reciah. She was punched repeatedly in the face by this young man and had contusions to the left side of her face. She went to the hospital for treatment of a closed head injury. Mr. Brian Powell, the father, was bit on his right side on the rib area by the young man in front of you. He was described as having a severe laceration as a result of that on the right side of his body, and he was repeatedly punched by the defendant as well. The defendant and his co-defendant have had multiple run-ins with the police for criminal trespass, squatting in the area in residences that are vacant. The co-defendant, who's in felony court, is on bond for a felony level aggravated assault or robbery, which the young man in front of you was present for as well. He is a convicted felon. That's what you just heard from. Pre-trial, he got first offender treatment for a felony drug and possession of a firearm in 2011. Our office has been in touch with the victims today. Mrs. Dunlap, victim number 2, is actually 18 years old. They reported that they had seen the individuals in and around the area recently, but had never had any contact with them previously. This could end up being transferred upstairs as a felony based on some of the injuries, or the defendant in front of you could end up being charged with a party to a crime kind of scenario. At this point, we'd be asking for a $4,000 cash bond, Your Honor. Stay away from the location. Again, that is the DeForest address, 2065 DeForest Ferry Road, the Urban Wings. Have no contact with the victims in this case. Kateria Powell, Brian Powell, and Mrs. Dunlap, her first name Rakaya, Reciah. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if Your Honor's not inclined to do a cash bond, we'd ask for an ankle monitor. This is an assault on strangers for no apparent reason. 2 people ended up in the hospital. This young man and his lady friend are literally a menace and have had constant encounters with police in the last 2 months in and around that same area. I just pulled 2 reports from September alone. This is a public safety issue, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Are Ms. Dunlap or Mr. Powell present on the Zoom conference? All right, hearing none. Mr. Coleman?
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Cooper. He is 32 years of age. He does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Mr. Cooper does have his GED. He's currently employed at CKS Warehouse. The father of one child, age 2. It appears that this is only his second arrest. Mr. Cooper is actually denying these allegations. Speaking to him, there is a lot more to this than what the solicitor has stated to you this morning, this afternoon. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond or in lieu of that, a low bond for Mr. Cooper.
All right, thank you. Defendant is going to receive a $2,500 surety bond, $500 on each count. He is to have absolutely no contact with Miss Powell, Mr. Powell, or Miss Dunlap, and he is to stay away from that location on DeForest Ferry Road. Have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, would you order no contact with his co-defendant?
Oh yeah, that's a fair request. And no
Kiera
contact.
Boykin. Her name is Kiera Boykin, Kiera. Boykin is Boykin.
All
Thank
right,
you.
and no contact with the co-defendant. All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position number 3, Mr. Daniels.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Daniels. Your case is 24 CR 00701-9H. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights? I'm assuming that's a yes. Mr. Howard?
I think he got at least 10. Last arrest was in September. Clayton County, ag assault, ag battery. That's open. That's it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Huda.
Thank you, Your Honor. This did actually occur on March 1st of 2023. At that time, officers actually did not make contact with the victim until March 23rd of 2023, when Ms. Keisha Harris did report that the father of her child had come over on the 1st, initially tried to initiate sexual contact. She rebuffed him while she was trying to escort him out of the house. He turned around, made his way back into the home and began pushing her, ultimately pushing her into a glass table. He left after she threatened to call police. She did suffer bruising to her left arm. Your Honor, that is spelled Kei Harris. We are recommending a $2,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness class, a no further contact with Ms. Harris, and a stay away from 1539 Harbin Road in Southwest Atlanta.
All right, and is Ms. Harris on the line and wishes to make a statement? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Coleman?
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Daniels. He is 51 years of age. He does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. He does have a technical certificate from Polytech University in California. He is employed by Lyft and DoorDash, the father of one child, age 6. I will remind the court at this time that these are just allegations against Mr. Daniels. This is a 19-month-old warrant. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond or in lieu of that, a low bond for Mr. Daniels.
All right, defendant's going to receive a $1,000 surety bond. He is to have no contact with the alleged victim, stay away from that location, have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
No, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position number 8, Mr. Wainwright.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Wainwright. Your case is 24 CR 007027C. In this case, you are charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
2022 open shoplifting. Most of his history is driving. Jail is a recommendation.
Okay.
Your Honor, this
Nope.
is an
Hold
incident.
on one second. I'm sorry. No previous criminal trespass?
Not that I saw.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Allen. Please proceed.
Yes, this is an incident from October the 11th at about 12:50 p.m. Police were called to 880 Glenwood Avenue, unit specifically 402C. The defendant was located inside a storage unit in the ENSO, E-N-S-O apartments. He was there without permission. It's one count of criminal trespass, Your Honor. We would agree with the recommendation from pretrial and just request that he be ordered to stay away from the location.
All right. Any objection to that, Ms. Bronstein? I'm inclined to grant that.
Signature bond through the jail.
Yes.
with no do not return, yes.
All right. Defendant's going to receive $1,000 signature bond through the jail. He's to not return to that location, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and he will be reset for the notice. Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
We do position number 7. That's the ACDC Pasadena.
All right. Has ACDC heard their rights?
Good afternoon, Judge. No, they have not.
All right. Good afternoon. All defendants of ACDC, please pay attention. You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have a right to an attorney, and I'm conducting this hearing by video. When I ask if you understand your rights, that is what I am referring to. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your case is 24 CR 007022F. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence. Can you please state your name for me? I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly.
Janaya Pazadev.
All right, Ms. Pasadena, do you understand your rights?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard.
What the rest? Last was in July. It said something about obtain, procure, give inmate store value card. That's 24 PI 004737. 2019-2017 shoplifting.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hudoff?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident did occur on September 4th of 2024. Officers were called to 320 Fairburn Road, apartment H6. The officers were flagged down by the victim, Mr. Kentavious Patterson, who said that he had made prior arrangements with the defendant to get his stuff back from their shared home. While trying to gather his things, she was pulling the necklaces around his neck to restrict him from leaving. When she realized she couldn't stop him, she pepper sprayed him in the face. A courtesy officer at the apartment complex led him to a nearby convenience store to get milk to rinse out his eyes. Grady did come onto the scene to treat him for the chemical burns. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $1,000 surety bond, 1 day of anger awareness, no further contact with the victim, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. It's our understanding that the incident location is her apartment, and so that's why we're not recommending a stay away.
All right, thank you. Ms. Bronstein?
Thank you, Your Honor. First of all, yes, the state is correct. The incident location is her apartment. He does not live there, so we're asking that there is no stay away. She is 24 years old. She currently works at a production line, making artificial bricks. She has been working at that location since this past April. She is from the Atlanta area, has lived here her entire life. Her mother lives nearby. She has 2 daughters, ages 8 and 6, and they're currently staying with her mom. I will say that her mom is a very limited means and does not have the money to make a bond. As far as this case goes, I know we're not here to address the facts. However, I want to point out, 1, this was a month ago. 2, law enforcement did not go to her house, did not investigate, did not talk to her that day. If they had, they would have seen the TV that he broke, her strangulation marks, when he was attacking her and hitting her. And she also got pepper sprayed because when she was being choked, she sprayed in every possible direction to try to get him off of her so she could not be choked. Law enforcement did not go to that house. They did not call her. The warrant was served a month later. I am asking that, and again, it's when I first read the warrant, I just thought this whole thing was suspect because macing someone, especially a woman macing a man, just seemed to be like a defensive rather than an offensive action. And based on what she said, it makes perfect sense. So I'm asking for a signature bond in this case.
All right. Defendant's going to receive a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial services at level 1 per judge. She's to have no contact with the alleged victim. She is going to take the 1 day anger awareness course and have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. She will be reset for the notice. Is there anything additional?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you. What do we have next?
Position number 9, Ms. Brock Williams.
All right, Miss.
Oh,
let's
I'm
see.
sorry, Brooke Williams.
All right, Miss Williams, your case is 24 CR 007026E. In this case, you were charged with battery family violence. You understand your rights?
Yes.
All right. This is her first arrest, so we will go straight to the state. Ms. Allen, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 9th of October at about 6 a.m. Police were called to 1043 Cleveland Avenue. That's in East Point. The location is specifically the CSL Plasma business. There, they encountered both Mrs. Brooke Williams as well as her boyfriend, Rodriguez Howell. He is on felony first appearance this morning. Both individuals claimed that they had not been the primary aggressor and had been assaulted by the other. Police were able to review surveillance footage that showed both parties striking each other. And they reported that they are boyfriend and girlfriend and they lived together. This young woman was seen to have scratches on her neck and her wrist. Mr. Rodriguez Howell was arrested for a simple battery, I believe, on her. Because Mr. Howell had injuries, swelling, and knots on his forehead as a result of being struck multiple times. And of course, that was caught on surveillance. He's on first appearance for felony because he was in possession of a firearm and is a convicted felon. We'd asked for a $1,000 SOB through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and no contact with the co-defendant.
All right. Any objection to that, Ms. Bronstein? I'm inclined to grant that.
I do want to say she did say that she wanted contact. I understand that he is not here right now. He's in a different court. I said that if the court does not grant that, that she could talk to her lawyer and take it up with the judge who's going to handle her case. So other than that, no, we do not.
All right. At this time, I think it's appropriate not to have contact. So defendant is going to receive a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services. She's going to take the 1-day anger awareness course, have no contact with the co-defendant, have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
What level?
Level 1.
Number 10, Williams Moore.
All right. Good afternoon. Your case is 24 CR 007027C. In this case, oh, I'm sorry, that's not correct. I'm so sorry. Your case is 24 CR 007025G. In this case, you're charged with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass and damage to property. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes.
All right, we'll go straight to Ms. Allen. This is her first arrest as well.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that just occurred on the 10th at about 1 a.m. in East Point. Police were called to 3255 Chestnut Drive. There they spoke with the victim in this case. I would note both the victim and the defendant are 19 or 20. He reported that he had come over to the residence, which is the young woman in front of you, her residence. He'd come over there. His name is Kyrie Langford, K-Y-R-E-E, to pick up their son, an infant who was born in April. While at the front door, he reported that the defendant asked to go through his phone to see if he was cheating. He reminded her that they weren't together and he denied her access to his phone. She slapped the phone from his hand and then stomped on it, damaging it. She also threatened him and said he wasn't going to have access to the child that they share unless he gave his phone to her so she could look through it. He grabbed her phone off the counter and went outside and called 911. At that point, she picked up an object, a rock, and threw it at him, striking her in the shoulder. On scene, the defendant talked to police and admitted that she threw a rock at the victim because he took her phone, and she said that she was upset because she wanted him, Mr. Kyrie Langford, to stay there with her and their infant. These people are very young and there's an infant involved. We would ask for an SOB through pretrial, Your Honor, specifically so that there's some access to resources, no violent contact, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we'd ask for a parenting class or anger management. Leave that to your discretion, but there's clearly a need for some resources here.
All right, I'm going to sound for Mr. Langford. Mr. Langford, if you wish to make a statement, please turn your camera on. I think I saw someone with that name. and raise your right hand. You are not required to make a statement, however.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to turn my camera on. I can't get it to turn on.
Please hurry.
All right.
And I will tell you, we spoke to the victim this morning, and he basically says everything in the police report is wrong. So I'm not surprised given the age of these folks and how sensitive these situations are.
I think I understand. All right, please raise your right hand if you want to make a statement. Do you swear and affirm testimony you give today be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. Now, I'm not concerned with if you disagree with what Miss Allen said. What I really want to know is if you wish to have contact with the victim, with the defendant, and whether you have concerns for your safety. So in light of that, what would you like to tell me?
I do not have a concern for my safety, and I do wish to have contact with Sergeant Williams.
All right, thank you. Ms. Bronstein, I'm inclined to give this SOB through pretrial, require the 1-day anger awareness, and have no further violent contact. Any objection?
No, Your Honor, as long as she can stay at her address.
All right. Defendant is to receive a $2,000 SOB through pretrial services at level 1. She's had no further violent contact with the alleged victim, and she is to take the 1-day anger awareness course, have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition. And it's going to be, I think it's 2 counts, so 1,000 on each count. All right. Best of luck to you, ma'am. That concludes your case at this time. Who do we have next? And ACDC can be excused, I believe.
Position number 5, Mr. Jones.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Good afternoon. Have a good afternoon.
Take care. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. All right. Mr. Jones, your case is 24 CR 007020A. You're charged with battery against a pregnant female and battery family violence with the offense date of February the 16th. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard. This is for first arrest?
No.
Oh, I'm
Both
sorry.
adult arrest. We got to open theft by receiving in Superior Court 23 CP 223429. On probation for theft by taking 22 SC 1833359. That's it.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hudak, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Police did respond to a 911 hang up at 178 Maury, Moury Avenue, Southwest Atlanta. Upon arrival, they did make contact with Rashonda Wilson, Rishuanda, who stated that she and Mr. Jones were in a verbal dispute. He walked away, walked into the bathroom, began throwing her things on the floor. She followed after him. They began speaking again. He again became irate and began hitting her. That's at that time that she called 911 and he left. They do live together. And at that time, she was 4 months pregnant with their child. Officers did observe bruises to both sides of her face, her forehead, and her right hand. Your Honor, we did talk to her earlier today. She did indicate that she was going to be on Zoom. So at the appropriate time, if you could sound for her. The state's recommendation is a $2,500 surety bond. It would be $1,500 on the battery family violence, $1,000 on the battery of a pregnant woman, Your Honor. 1-day anger awareness. The state is recommending a no further contact, but again, we did speak to the victim. She wants contact with him. They do reside together. They did have their child. I believe the child's 2 months old right now. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, Your Honor.
All right, I'm sorry. Can you give me the name of the alleged victim again?
Yes, Your Honor. Rashonda Wilson.
All right, is Ms. Wilson on the Zoom conference and wishes to make a statement? Sounding once, sounding twice. Mr. Coleman, please proceed.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond from Mr. Jones. It appears that he has a limited criminal history. He is 21 years of age. He is employed by hire request in East Point. However, he has a very low income. Therefore, he has little to no money to post for bond. In addition to the 2-month-old, he is also the father of a 2-year-old. Again, given his limited criminal history, I would be requesting a signature bond on his behalf. I will remind the court at this time that these are just allegations against Mr. Jones.
All right. Defendant's gonna receive $1,000 surety bond, 500 on each count. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. Did the state request to stay away? Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
All
178
right.
Maury Avenue.
That's not his address, correct, Mr. Coleman? Is that his address?
Uh, no, I don't believe that he is living with Miss Jones at this, the alleged victim at this time.
All right. Stay away from that location. Have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition. And as a reminder, he's going to all purpose on 24th. Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
A quick announcement, position number 4 bonded out,
Okay.
and position number 6 is Borstein's client. She said he was a waiver, but
Position 6 is a waiver.
A waiver of presence, we can still have a bond hearing.
Okay. We'll now take that one up. The waive case 24 CR 007021C, the case of Josiah McNulty, which the defendant is charged with criminal trespass with the offense date of October the 11th. There's no one asked if they understand their rights, but Mr. Howard, can I have the history?
You got to open. Wait, was arrested this year for trespass. You got to open burglary. 23 CP 220068. Oh, the trespass is 24 CR 006521C. Got to open theft of property out of Texas and a resident of Gainesville, Florida.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Ms. Hudak?
Yes, Your Honor. So police were called in this incident to 3097 Maple Drive in the city of Atlanta when Ms. Leah Rogers called to say that she found somebody later identified as the defendant sleeping in her car. Mr. McNulty told officers he was doing so because he didn't know where to go for shelter and the car door was unlocked. The state was recommending actually a surety bond, a $1,000 surety bond and a stay away because of his out-of-state residence, his record, and an FTA out of Chamblee.
And defense is not arguing for a signature bond in this case at this time. We might later. I spoke with Mr. McNulty. He told me that if he was actually released on a signature bond, he'd have nowhere to go but just end back in jail, and requested to have a social worker from my office go up to see him to see if we can work with him to come up with a placement that would help with his health issues and drug issues and homelessness. So we would I'm after court, I'm going to email Mr. Haddad and the social workers and ask that they see him next week. So I would just ask that maybe at the SAP calendar, if maybe that could be revisited if we find somewhere.
Okay. All right, and you can always feel free to send emails to the state regarding parties as well. All right, defendant's going to receive a $1,500 surety bond. He is to stay away from that location, I guess. I guess that's the best way to put that. Stay away from the vehicle. Have no alcohol, drugs, weapons as a condition. All right, is that complete? Have we done the entire SCA calendar in 35 minutes?
yes.
Wow, that's a new record even for
Well, really 30 because you were late. But you still set a record.
Okay. All right, Ms. Strong, will you please review the calendar for me?
Before we start, Mr. McNulty, it was no further contact, just to stay away, right? Can't hear you.
I'm sorry, it's a criminal trespass, so yes, just
Okay,
stay away.
just away, okay. Position number 1 was a $1,500 good bond, reset SAP. Position number 2, $2,500 good bond, reset SAP. Position number 3 was a $1,000 good bond, reset SAP. 4 was released. 5 was a $1,000 good bond, reset SAP. 6 was a $1,500 good bond, reset SAP. 7, $4,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1 per judge. 8 was a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. 9 was a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1. And 10 was a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1.
Any comments, questions, corrections, otherwise?
Wait, how much is 10?
Oh, shoot, I've already forgot.
It was
10.
a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1.
A 2,000 to 1,000 on each. Okay, I just
Yes.
want to make sure I had it.
That's correct. All right. Well, take care, everyone. Enjoy some of this beautiful weather. And I will see some of you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day.
Bye-bye.
Miss Albert, if you guys could hold for a second, don't close it down. Miss Albert, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Our advocate that you spoke to earlier is going to be reaching out to you. So it sounds like the defendant in your case bonded out before we could get to first appearance. So she is on bond with some conditions, but we'll revisit what that looks like once we get to court. Okay.
How is that possible?
She was given a bond when a judge signed her warrant. So it sounds
And
like
how much was her bond?
let me see.
That's
Misdemeanor cases are entitled to a bond. And it's pretty typical that when someone gets a warrant, they also are given a bond. She has a $6,000 bond she had to put up a certain amount for. A $600, excuse me. Okay.
600 for 2 batteries. Oh. Yeah.
She came in with one and I added another one. So this is just the beginning of the case. We'll be in contact, okay?
Yeah, that's very, very disappointing knowing that she has ties to the police department. So
I don't know anything
want on
about
record-
that, but we'll continue to talk about it, okay?
I do have concerns for my safety though. So that was never stated anywhere, but I'm just letting you know. Thank you.
I am absolutely sure of that. I reviewed the case and I spoke to our victim advocate and we'll be speaking further, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.